Dr. Ben Atkins here, and welcome to the course. Inside, I'm going to be showing you the most advanced tactics for running ads and helping grow your startup, your software, or your company, whatever that you may be trying to do. Now, this is primarily aimed at startup companies that are trying to get exposure and in a very big way. Inside of this course, we're going to be covering several things from how to start doing ads the right way on Facebook to get exposure for yourself and how to get in front of your right target audience, the people that are going to buy your stuff or are going to be users for your system. But we're also going to be going through how to get your company in front of some very influential people so that they can talk about your company and get you more users, or they can help you get funding. So what we're going to be doing inside of this course is very simple. There's 5 sections. Now in these sections, there's a ton of things that I could have covered and gone through, but I decided I was only going to show you the things that actually mattered in Facebook ads. So I don't actually cover everything and every bell and whistle that goes on with Facebook ads. I'm sorry, but the key with this is I wanted to put together a course that shows you how we actually use Facebook ads to grow our startup companies and to really, really get a ton of traffic, both from our target consumers as well as with the people that can help us grow our company in a very unique way. So what are we going to be covering inside of this course? Well, section 1, we're going to be talking about how to identify your audience. This is the #1 thing I think a lot of people miss when they're advertising their startup on Facebook, because they don't really nail down the right audience. They don't really go through this process the right way. It doesn't take a lot of time, but this is going to be the one thing that's going to set you up for success with Facebook ads. And unfortunately, it's the thing that 90 to 95% of most startups miss when they're advertising on Facebook. The next thing we're going to be covering is section number two, how to construct your offer. So I'm going to show you exactly how to put your pages together so that they convert very well once you send traffic from a Facebook ad. The next section, which is section 3, we're going to be covering actually putting your ads together. I'm going to show you exactly how to put your ads together, how to do it the right way, and how to make sure you get a lot of attention, a lot of clicks, and that you get those clicks for very cheap on Facebook, which is always important. The next section, section 4, is Ads Advanced. I'm going to be showing you some out-of-the-box techniques to get exposure for your brand, for your startup, so that you can get in front of the right people using some very interesting tactics. Now, make sure you don't go through section 4 until you go through the 3 sections before. Every step builds on itself. Finally, section 5, I'm going to be talking about how to dial in your ads so that you can really, really get cheap clicks and get a huge return on your investment. So this course is going to be very powerful for you. We are going to be going through not only how to get in front of your target consumer, but how to get in front of people that can help you take the next step with your business, either because they are a celebrity and they can get your message out and in front of an audience that you want to sell to, or because they can help you because maybe they have some funding connections. So I'm excited for you to go through the course. We're going to get started with section 1. All you have to do is click the link that says section 1, and you're going to get started, and you're going to absolutely love what I have for you. This is not a huge course, but this is a course that you can digest and be above 90% of people out there running ads on Facebook. All right? I'm Dr. Ben Atkins. I'm excited for you to go through this because it's going to be powerful for your business. And hey, without any further delay, let's get started. All right, welcome to the first video in section 1, and inside this video, I want you to understand exactly who we're going after and how we're really going to be researching our audience and getting everything put together the right way. So really the first thing you need to understand is something that I think most people who have startups or services that they're advertising on Facebook, they really miss this. Everybody focuses just on their target consumer. And that's cool because when you're selling something on Facebook, you want to target, your main consumer, the person that is going to be who you're going after to actually sell your service to. But everybody misses the other big opportunities on Facebook, and that's why a lot of people they can never really make Facebook ads work for them. So what we're going to be doing right now is something I call, we're going to be going through the Facebook Ads Triad. So like I said, I call this the Facebook Ads Triad because these are the 3 things that I always focus on when we're helping a company grow their business and we're really putting together, an ad campaign. So this is more of the research portion, but you have to understand these 3 things. And like I said, do not be like everybody else and just focus on the target consumer. If you target these other key things in your research, then when we get to the portion where we're going to actually be running the ad, you're going to find that it's extremely easy to be profitable with your ads. Okay, so first things first, let's go through this. What we're going to do is we're going to click on this target consumer area and we're going to go through what you have to know. So this is what everybody focuses on, and I want to make sure you understand this 100%. So a couple key things here. We're going to go through and I'm going to show you how to research a couple things in a minute to find out who your audience actually is. Okay, so we're going to have some research findings that we have here in a couple minutes after we get through this. And also, you probably already have an audience in your head. So when you built your company, you had an audience in your head that you were going after, and just because our research tells us one thing doesn't mean I want you to throw away what you had in your head. So when we're thinking about advertising to our target consumer, I'm going to show you how to research who your target consumer is in a minute, but I also want to make sure that you have your current audience in mind. Whoever you built this service for, whoever that avatar was, that person that you were aiming your product at, even if the research tells you something a little bit different, I want you to keep that audience in mind because it's still important, okay? So with our target consumer, that's what everybody goes after. In the next couple of videos, I'm going to show you how to target that consumer exactly, but that's only a small portion of what you can do with ads, and in my opinion, it's a very one-dimensional way to look at ads. The next thing we want to look at is we actually want to look at our competitors and contemporaries. If you understand who is out there that you're competing with, or can have a complimentary service with you. So if you have someone that has a complimentary service, or their startup is complimentary to you, or even a competitor with your startup, then it's going to be very, very powerful, because you can take the audience they've already collected and target them for yours. So with this, there's a couple things. We're looking for similar companies that we would, possibly be competitors with. We're also looking for complementary companies that, if our customer is into them, they're probably going to be into us, and vice versa. So that's what we're looking at. We're looking for these two types of things. I'm going to show you how to nail that down in the next couple videos too, so that you can go after that group. Okay, and then I'm going to show you how to actually put that audience together, so that we are, nailing this down, and all the research that our competitors and contemporaries have already done, and the money they can spend going after those audiences, we don't really have to do that. We can use their research and save ourselves a lot of money. And when we start to run our Facebook ad, we can basically take advantage of the research and money that they make. So that's where we're at. The next thing is celebrities. So we're going to go into celebrities and talk about this. Celebrities are extremely important. And this is where I'm really going to take you outside of the box for Facebook ads, because so far we've really been going after, directly selling. But what if you have a, let's say, a tech startup company, and you want to appear in a publication like Gizmodo, or you want to be in TechCrunch? You want to get in front of people that can not necessarily directly sell your stuff to, but they can talk about your stuff and get you a ton of, near free publicity. Okay, so this is what we're doing. We're going to be using ads also to get our message in front of celebrities. Now, these are not the people that are necessarily going to sell our stuff. We're going to sell our stuff to. They're going to help us sell our stuff by talking about our stuff. Now, also, just to let you know, sometimes our target consumer likes these folks as well. So knowing who these people are is going to be a very big deal when we're just running the ads. So a couple key things to keep in mind here. Celebrities are people who influence and help spread our message. So they're people that influence our target consumers. Our target consumers are reading about them all the time. So that's why these people are important to know. When we go in and we actually run ads, we need to know who the celebrities of our market are. If we know that, it's super easy to target these celebrities and get them to at least notice us. Okay. After that, trade organizations. Okay, so let's say that you're in a business and there's a lot of trade organizations. When I first got started back in chiropractic, because that was the first thing I did before I had any of my startup companies, there are a ton of chiropractic organizations that people are in, and they listen to the people that lead these organizations. So knowing who these organizations are and being able to target those organizations on Facebook with ads is extremely powerful. The last thing is magazines and publications. Once again, there are a ton of publications. If you're a tech person, you've got Gizmodo, you've got TechCrunch, you've got countless publications that can help spread your message if they only knew about your company. And a great way to put that in front of them is through Facebook. Okay? I'm going to show you how to do all that in just a second. So inside of this, I want you to keep in mind, do not just use Facebook ads to focus on your target consumer. That's a great thing. A lot of people do it. People make money doing it. But if you start looking at this triad, which is your target consumer, your competitors and contemporaries, as well as the celebrities that your target consumer listens to, if you think about these folks and you really start aiming things at them and you start aiming your research at them, you're going to really blow it out of the water. So within the next little bit, that's what we're going to be doing. I'm going to show you how to do research like the pros do it. Not how most people out there are doing it, but like the pros are doing it, so that you can really stretch Facebook ads to its maximum capacity and you can make a whole lot of money doing it. So what we're going to be doing is I've got a sheet that I put together for you, and we're actually going to pull this up, and it's called the Facebook Ads Triad Worksheet. It's extremely simple, but when we start doing research, we're going to nail down exactly who our target consumer is. So you can print this out, you can write on it, you can circle the things you need to circle. Who are your competitors and contemporaries, and who are the celebrities inside of your market? So this is what I fill out every time we get going with a new company that we're working with, a new startup, a new service. This is the thing that we actually fill out. And once I have this done, I have an extremely good understanding of exactly how I need to attack that market. So in the next couple of videos, we're going to be going over a couple of real-world case studies of exactly how to go after a certain audience. So I will see you in the next video. In the next video, I'm going to show you how I find not only the big competitors and contemporaries in our market, but also how we find some of the smaller ones, because we want to be able to take advantage of all of them. All right, I will see you in the next video. Dr. Ben Atkins here. It's exciting to show you this Facebook ads triad, because this is going to be the real game changer for how you can take Facebook ads, really push it to the next level, and really get your startup or service out there. All right, I'll see you in the next video. All right, Dr. Ben Atkins here again with you, and in the last video I showed you the Facebook ads triad, and I talked to you a little bit about how we're able to really dominate when we use this process as compared to how most people run Facebook ads. So what we're going to be doing is the next little bit, I'm going to be working you through this particular section of things, and we're going to be filling this out so that by the time you get to the point where you're putting your offer page together and you're running ads to that offer page, whatever your startup or service may be, you know exactly who you're talking to. Without doing this stuff, you're really just throwing stuff up and hoping that it sticks. But when you do this correctly, you're going to knock it out of the park. So in this particular section, we're actually going to skip over this targets consumer thing real quick of the triad. That part of the triad we're going to wait until the very end, and I'll show you why here in just a couple minutes. It'll make a lot of sense. But we're going to go on into contemporaries, competitors, and the celebrities. Okay, so in this particular video, I'm going to be focusing on the competitors and contemporaries. Okay, so let's just take an example here. Let's say that you had put together a site, and your startup was all about, you know, putting code together so that people who code apps and things like that, they can come buy code. Now, there's a couple of really good places on the net to do that. Probably the biggest, and you know, most people who have startups out there that are tech startups know this, is a place called Code Canyon. All right, so let's say that you actually put together a site and you were wanting to compete with Code Canyon, and you thought you could do a great job. All right, so Code Canyon would be our competitor. All right, so that's the person, you know, that's the person or company that is our direct competitor, and we think we can do a better job, and we think we have something unique in the marketplace. Let's say this is who you're going after. Now, it doesn't matter what your particular thing is. You always have, or at least you should have it in mind, a list of competitors that you are, you know, competing with in the market. And a lot of people say, well, you know, my thing is so unique, I don't have any competitors, and that's a really dangerous thing sometimes. We're not saying that's a bad thing, but when you don't know who your competitors are, well, the problem is you don't know that there's necessarily a market for what you have. And I ran into this several times when I first started. I would think of something that would be a great thing, we build it out, and then realize there wasn't a market for it. It happens. It's something you just have to watch out for. So anytime now, I'm always thinking in the beginning, who are my competitors or people that are complementary? So let's just say with this example, your startup that you have, or your company is a company that's like Code Canyon. You have a site where developers will come submit code that people can buy. Okay? So we have Code Canyon now. So right away, I'm going to go ahead and grab Code Canyon. This is the first one that I thought of, Code Canyon, and then we're going to put Code Canyon into our competitors. Okay? So Code Canyon. Okay? And this is part of the Envato network, but Code Canyon is the first record. So what I want to find out now is who else is possibly someone that we could actually, you know, go after and that we need to know about in this whole game. And that's when you go to a site called SimilarSites.com. SimilarSites.com will basically, when you put in a web address, it will show you sites that are similar. And this helps us find pretty much what the marketplace is like. So what we're going to do here is we're going to type in CodeCanyon.net because that was our direct. And we're going to go find more people or more companies that are like that. And when we do this, we're getting a lot of other places that are from, you know, the Envato network. So Graphic River, ThemeForest, ActiveVin.net, all of those are actually part of the same company as this one. Now, you may know that, you may not know that. That's okay. But they all belong to the Envato network, okay? Now, the cool thing is when we get to Facebook, you're going to find that even though this is part of the same company, there are different people that like each one, okay? So let me actually just show you what I'm talking about. If we go to Facebook.com here, and we're actually doing a search, if we were to type code Canyon, you have a whole thing that's dedicated to just Code Canyon, okay? But let's say we go to one of these others that we found here. Let's do Theme Forest, okay? And these are still very similar sites as to what we're doing. So we've got Theme Forest, and then you've got a whole other section by the same company, but they have a whole different fan base that we can learn about and get to know about. So there are lots of different things. Even if it's the same company, don't make the mistake of thinking that you can't go after it. So what I'm going to type in, I'm actually looking for a couple things here. We've got another one called PHP Snips. We got another one called Hot Scripts. We got another one called Creatica. All right, so let's actually take a look and see if we can't find anything on Facebook for Hot Scripts. All right, so let's actually open up Hot Scripts. HotScripts.com, it's going to give us some information here. And we're going to actually visit the site. So with Hot Scripts, we're just looking to see basically, okay, there's the logo, that's what everything looks like, popping up a couple things. Now what we need to do is we need to see, do they have a Facebook page? Okay, and they actually do, so we're going to actually open up that Facebook page. What kind of fan base do they have? Not a huge fan base. This would probably be not something that we wanted to go after, so we would go back. We'd say, okay, well, what else is there out there? So let's take a look here. Let's go back, and then we saw Hot Scripts was there, PHP Snips was there. What else do we have that would possibly fit into what we're doing? Let's take a look at Creatica. Okay, so I'm going to click on Creatica. I have no idea if I'm even saying their name right, but let's see. Do they have a Facebook presence? Yeah, at the bottom I can see they've got a Facebook icon, and we're actually going to copy that link address, and we're going to pop it in and see what their Facebook presence is like. Over 20,000 people, so that's actually a really good start. And we know that these people, if you take a look at what Creatica actually is, we're going to go to their site again, it has to do with design, it has to do with our same audience, the same kind of people that are going to be into the things that are going on at CodeCanyon.net. So we're going to put Creatica down and say, you know what? Yeah, I think that's a good one for us. Okay, so I'm going to grab their address and we're going to pop it into our file. Okay, so and now we have another company that we can target. Now, I could do this all day, but I think you guys get the idea of what we're doing, okay? So we've got a couple things that we're going to go after, a couple places, and in a couple minutes, I'm going to show you how we can use this particular information to find out more about our target consumer. So right now, all I wanted to show you is how to go in, use SimilarSites.com to find our competitors. You know, we could add 5 more different ones down here, but how you can go in, find the different things, and then use that information to get narrowed in on who our target audience is. So this is part of the research phase. Keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and add one more. We've had, since we're doing the actual Envato sites, let's actually go back in and see what else we had. Let's actually grab one of their other sites. Let's do Graphic River. Let's do Theme Forest. We'll do themeforest.net as well. We're going to put that in. So Theme Forest, even though it's the same company, could be a completely different audience. Same type of audience, but you get the idea. So now we have 3 to go. Like I said, you can do 10, you can do 20, depending on what company I'm working with. Because sometimes we'll have up to 20 different competitors that we're going to do research on. It's not anything that's overly time consuming. You'll see what I'm going to do with these in just a minute. But with this video, I wanted to show you how I use one main competitor, find other competitors, and we put those in our list, and we get those ready for what we're going to do in a couple minutes with this. Now, the next section, we're going to go through celebrities. I'm going to show you how to find celebrities, how to really blow it up, and we're going to be using what we used inside of the competitors and contemporaries to find celebrities, and then we're going to really nail it down as to who our audience is. All right, Dr. Ben here. In this section, we talked all about how to find similar sites, which were our competitors, our contemporaries, and in this example, we used, we were putting together a code site, so we went after Code Canyon. Now, if you're doing something that's Facebook software, you go after other Facebook softwares. If you were doing something like a service related to SEO, or maybe you just have a small business, you go after other sites that had something similar, and you would do the same process. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Like I said, it's a powerful process that we use. In the next video, we're going to go over celebrities, and then right after that, I'm going to show you how to use all of the information that you found to find your target consumer so that you can nail down your ads and get extremely cheap clicks for whatever service or startup you want. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Dr. Ben Atkins back here with you again, and we just went through how to find competitors and contemporaries that you can use to do your targeting, and we're going to go through that in the next couple of videos. So I know this is a little bit of a process, but like I said, this is how the pros do it. This is how 90% to 95% of people out there don't, and that's why they're not successful when they run ads on Facebook. So we've gone through how to find your competitors and contemporaries, and that information is going to come in extremely handy in just a minute. But the next thing I want to do is find celebrities. We're trying to find people that if they talk about you and your company, your startup, it's going to be very, very beneficial for you. So a couple things that we want to do here. We want to get a really good understanding of who the celebrities are in our market. So right out of the bat, in our last example, I was talking to you about how we were going to put together a site that rivaled what Code Canyon, Creatica, ThemeForest, all those do. We're basically bringing together a group of people that are coders that are putting things together, and they're going to sell their code to other people. So if that's our startup, what do we do? What do we do to actually attack this market? The next thing after finding the competitors and contemporaries is finding celebrities. So I know right out of the gate, there's a couple that stick out in my mind. Gizmodo is one. We've got TechCrunch, that's one. Those are basically big-time people that work for those companies and big-time companies that are going to be very valuable to us. So the first thing, we're going to start on a very big level. We're going to start off and we're going to say, okay, so it would be great to show up in a publication like Gizmodo. And Gizmodo is basically this. It's an online publication that talks about tech. It talks about the latest things happening. And whether you like Gizmodo or not, you got to understand they have a lot of good traffic. So right out of the gate, we're going to go through our similar sites example.com again. And so similarsites.com, this is our example that we went through with the last, just finding Code Canyon and similar sites. But if we're finding celebrities, we don't just want one celebrity, we want a lot of them. So we're going to type in Gizmodo here, and we're going to do another quick look. All right, so Gizmodo.com, of course, we've got Engadget, we've got Wired, we've got Ars Technica. So these are great freaking sites that we can actually go after. So right out of the gate, I'm going to fill out, we've got Gizmodo.com, and I'm just going to leave the .com. So we've got Engadget.com, we've got Ars Technica.com, we've got Wired.com. Now, for your startup or your service, if you're in the tech industry, then appearing in any one of these can drive a lot of traffic to you. So all of those would be very valuable. So not only are we looking at, okay, these would be great, for our audience, because they have similar audiences as to, who we're trying to sell to, but we're also looking at, hey, if we knew personally the people that worked there, it would be very, very profitable for us. So if we could get in touch with the people that work there, it would be a very good thing. So here's the thing. Most people look at ads as, I'm going for my target consumer. But what if you could run ads that you could put in front of writers at Gizmodo? You could speak to them directly. And I'm really covering that in the section, the fourth section, which is the ads advanced. But I wanted you to go ahead and do the research right now. So let's go ahead and do this. So we know Gizmodo is a good one. That's the one we're after. Now that we know that that is a good site, not only are we going to be targeting their audience while we're doing ads on Facebook, but let's actually go and see if we can't find some people that work at Gizmodo. So this is a ninja trick that not many people know. So we're going to jump in here, and we're going to go into basically the Facebook search. So we're just using graph search here. So really quick trick. You're going to love this. This is this is worth the price of admission just for this trick. So we're going to type in employees of Gizmodo. Okay? Gizmodo has a very big presence on Facebook, so now we're just looking for employees at Gizmodo. So now what Facebook is just going to volunteer to us is it's going to show us all of these great writers that write for Gizmodo. So they already write for Gizmodo. What if all of a sudden you can put an ad up in their sidebar and talk to them directly about your startup? You say, hey, Kyle, check out my app. Hey, Kyle, check out my startup. And you can absolutely do that. So while right now I'm not going to get too in-depth with that, other than I'm going to show you really quickly a quick trick is to get more information on this. So I'm going to click on Kyle's profile. And it takes us to Kyle's profile. We're not friends. We don't have to be friends to run ads to them. And in the address bar, when it says Kyle Wagner, so it says Facebook.com/Kyle Wagner, I'm actually going to go through and I'm going to replace the www with graph. So it's going to be graph.facebook.com/Kyle Wagner. Okay? So that's what we're looking to do. I'm going to remove anything extra on there, and we're going to click it, and you're going to see that you get an ID. Now, when we get into the advanced ad section, this ID is going to come in handy. Okay? I'm not going to go into any more right now, but trust me, this ID will come in handy that we have that later. So all I need to know now is how do we find these celebrities I just showed you. So if we're going in, you can always type in for whatever your publication, you can type in employees of, and then type the company you're after. If I was going after TechCrunch, I could do the same thing, employees of TechCrunch, and it gives us the writers, all that good stuff. So that's how you go in. That's how you find celebrities that work at big publications. And like I said, we can get all those things down inside of this document, and we can put the main people that we want to go after as well as the ID. So that's what we've got. We've got celebrities. Those are going to come in handy in the next video. And then we get to chapter 4. I'm going to show you how to target the writers directly. So you just put an ad in front of them. So I gave you 2 different paths for going. In the next section, we're going to target our consumers. I'm going to show you how to get laser sharp targeting based on these things you've already collected. All right? I'll see you in the next. Alrighty, so in the last couple of videos, we knocked out exactly how to find our contemporaries and our competitors, and we talked about how to find celebrities, and I even showed you a quick little trick that we're going to be using later on to target people with ads in a very small group. So like if you have a reporter that you want to go after and put an ad just in front of them, how we're going to do that. I'll show you how to grab those things. I'll show you again here later on, but I wanted to give you a little hint as to where we're going. So you understand we're not just targeting our consumer. Sometimes we're targeting people that can help us put our message in front of our consumer even more. So these are the things we've pretty much figured out so far. We figured out who our competitors and contemporaries are, who the celebrities in our business are, what are the publications, or, what people work at those publications. Now we have to use the information that we've got to actually put together a target consumer. Now, this may seem silly. This may seem like a lot of work. Why am I not just throwing up an ad? Well, it's because you actually want your ad to be effective. We need to know exactly who we're putting our message in front of, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So there's a site out there called Alexa, and Alexa is basically the site for measuring traffic on the internet and seeing who gets the most, and also finding out a little bit more about, what kind of traffic those sites get. So I'm going to tell you right now, Alexa Pro. That's the way you got to go. And when you're going through Alexa Pro, you need to actually get the upgraded version. And let me show you exactly what we're actually looking at. If you look into the product section of Alexa, you're going to see Alexa Insight. Now, it's $49 a month. I don't care if you keep this thing up for more than 1 month, but if you took in this and got this subscription and you paid $40, $50 for this, and you use what I'm about to show you, then it's worth the $50 times about 500, okay? Just knowing the things that you're about to learn with this. So here's basically what happens. Once you have that upgraded version, you get a little bit of a better insight as to who you're actually targeting. And this is how you do it. We're going to take our competitor. Let's say you're a brand new company out there, and you don't know necessarily who your audience is. You may have an idea, and that's good to have that idea, but you may not know who your audience is. But you know that your competitors and your contemporaries are these people. So what we need to do is we need to see who their audience. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go in and we're going to type in CoachCanyon.net into Alexa. Now remember, this is an upgraded account. This is not the account that the public sees. And thank goodness, this puts a little bit of a barrier in front of people that would be your competitors out there. So CoachCanyon.net, we're going to search them, and we're going to get a lot of information. So we see this page, and okay, that's who we want, so let's hit Get Info. Okay, when we do this, it takes us to a screen that looks a little bit like this. Now, we get a lot of cool information. We see how much time the average user spends on site, page views, download rate, things like that. But this is where it really gets interesting. This is why you paid the extra money for the demographics. We are right away seeing that we can tell exactly who our gender is, what kind of education they have, where they browse from, their ethnicity. Some really, really good information. So how you read this is actually this. The green bar, if you see green, it means that's the dominating part. So let's go back and let's actually fill in our demographics. So for CoachCanyon, if that's the audience we're going after, that's the site that has the group that we want to come over to our page, this is how we would actually get them. So number one, we know that these are primarily males. So males, that's who we've got. Okay, we're going to jump back here. Our age is 18 to 24 and 25 to 34. Okay, so 18 to 24 would be, it's pretty close. Let's actually keep those pretty darn close to each other. So these are our big age groups. So when we're advertising here in just a little bit, those are the age groups we're actually going to be going after. Pretty simple, right? Now this all matches up with what you can find in Facebook ads when you're actually putting these things together. Now, some other stuff. Income is going to be right here, 0 to 30K, and it's going to take us to this right here. And the reason that's a low number, by the way, is because of the age group. Okay? A lot of times you're going to see this number start to rise, but it's going to be a small number that actually rises. Okay? But this is very valuable information to know when you're marketing. So 0 to 30K and 30 to 60. Okay? So let's go through here, and 0 to 30K is our primary. And this is how I do it. I just do it by colors. And I know that my primary is red and my blue is my secondary. Okay? The next thing is, what is their education? We know hardcore these people are grad school. Okay? So I'm just going to say they've got grad school under their belt. Now, probably the most important part after that is the ethnicity. So we've got the United States. We've got India. That's where these people are coming from. So we've got Caucasians, Middle Eastern, Hispanic. Those are the ones that we've got. So Hispanic and Middle Eastern are going to be our biggest ones. But looking at this here, Middle Eastern, something doesn't jive. India, we've got some things here. So I know United States I'm going to be targeting, and I know India. You don't actually target on Facebook by ethnicity. So this is not going to be as powerful to you. We know that if they're on the site, they speak English because CoachCanyon.net is in English. This is where you're actually getting into the good stuff. So sometimes this stuff may not fit. Even though some of these people live in these countries, that have this ethnicity, that's okay. All you have to know for Facebook is this stuff. So when I say ethnicity, I'm actually going to be talking about country for Facebook. So that's what we're doing. So United States and India is who we're primarily doing. So even though I have ethnicity here, let's type country. United States and India. Now, within those countries, it's very beneficial for you to know that these are the dominating actual ethnicities. But you can't target those really directly inside of Facebook. So this is one of those things, keep it in the back of your mind, and that's why I have ethnicity written here, even though we have countries. That's to remind me, hey, remember who your ethnicities were. You could actually make another section there underneath for that. But countries, that's what we've got. Okay, so coming to the end of this, we are using these. Now, you can also go back in and you can do the same sort of search on Alexa for this one. You can do the same sort of search for this one. You can go in and you can do the same sort of search for this, too, because we know that our target audience also reads these publications. All right? We just know that. But primarily, who are we going after? This was the company we were going after, so that's where we're going to get the majority of our starting data to run these ads. All right, so all of this data that you just put together on this sheet, this Facebook ads triad, everything you've got here is going to be extremely valuable to you in the next couple of sections. So that's what we've got here. You've put together everything you need to put together to go after your target market. Like I said, our example was a startup that mimicked what this company was doing. That's why we targeted it directly with this. So like I said, Alexa, very, very powerful to give you the demographics you need for running your ads. And the reason we need that is if we can target these people directly, then it really, really helps us put together what we need when we start really trying to get cheap clicks. Because we'll get more clicks, we'll get more targeted clicks because we've targeted the right. All right? So that's what we've got. We've got our sheet filled out, everything ready to go to jump into the next section. So the next section, section 2, we're going to be talking about putting together our main page. This is the page that once they click on the ad, they're actually going to go to, and that's how you're going to convert. So we got to make sure we know who is clicking on the ads and where they're going. So in this section, like I said, we learned everything we needed to know about who we're targeting in the next little bit. So now we're ready to jump in, and we're ready to start putting together our landing page as well as our ads. So next section, we're going to be talking about how to put together the page that they're going to go to after they click on the ad. And then right after that, we're going to get into the good stuff where we actually put the ads together the right way. All right, Dr. Ben, and I will see you in the next section. Welcome to section 2, constructing your offer page. I'm Dr. Ben Atkins back here with you, and I'm excited that you've got to this section. Now, in the last section, we talked about researching your audience. And once you've researched your audience, you should have a much better understanding of who you're talking to. Well, in here in just a couple minutes, we're going to start building our ads. But before we build our ads, we need to know where those ads are going to. So we need to talk a little bit about where you're going to be landing all these people once they click on your ad inside of Facebook. So let's talk a little bit about what we're going to be learning inside of section 2. So what will we be covering? First things first, we're going to be talking about considering your consumer's space. So whoever we figured out was your target audience in the last section and figured out, what their age was, how they spend their time, what is their, demographic. How do we really put these people into a box? Once we figure that out, we have to figure out when they're on Facebook, which is where they're going to see our ad, what are they thinking? So what time of day is it? Are they sitting at work? Are they sitting at home? Are they on their phone? We have to really consider our consumer's space. When you understand that, you're going to understand a lot about how you need to talk to them even more. And think about it. When we're doing radio advertising, if you've ever done any radio advertising, you have to consider that most people are hearing that when they're in their car. Not all, but the vast majority. In their car or they're listening to it at work. So that's one. When we're running TV ads, if we're running something in prime time, we know that people just had dinner, they're sitting at home, and we can tailor our ad around that knowledge. So that's what considering your consumer space is all about. We have to think about when your ads are running, and what is your consumer really doing? If you can dial that in, not only do you have your demographic down, but you have kind of where their head is when they see your ad. And those things are powerful. So when we do that and they see your ad, we also need to think once they land on your page that you're constructing here, we have to talk about what is that page going to mean to them. So you have to understand your space. The next thing is identifying your unique selling points. When we create the page that tells people what your product is about, what your startup is about. We have to know what makes your startup unique. So we're going to talk about what makes your startup unique and what makes it stand out, while at the same time not being so out there that people don't get it. Okay? So relatable yet unique. The next thing is we're going to be talking about formatting in a feature-benefit fashion. This is the easiest way to communicate with people so that they understand what you're about and how it benefits them in the future. So we're going to talk about that. It seems like a simple concept, but most people miss this one. If you get this down, then it really takes you far. The next thing is on your page that we're going to be landing then after they click the ad, we're going to be talking about your call to action. This is an extremely important thing. Most people miss this too. I'm going to show you how to make sure you don't miss it. So what are the goals that we have for this section? The first one is to create a high converting page that points your soon to be created ad at. Okay? We're going to be doing ads soon. I want to make sure that whenever they click on the ad, they land on a page that is going to really, really get your startup out there and really, really tell people what it's about so that you can convert. The next thing is explain your company in as few words as possible. This is not about writing a giant page, a book of what your company's about. It's really giving something to the consumer who could be your customer soon that they can just glance at and understand what you're about. So that's a goal for this section, is to learn all those things, but really do it in as a short amount of page space as possible. The next thing is we're going to talk about driving your traffic from Facebook into an action that benefits you and them. So when we take them to Facebook to this page we're going to be creating for your company, we want to make sure that there's a really, really good call to action so that not only do you benefit, but they benefit as well. Because if they benefit as well, and you can show them how, well, then you're going to get a lot of really great converting stuff from your Facebook ads. All right? That's what we've got in Section 2. Let's get started. So this is Section 2, constructing your offer page. Dr. Ben Atkins here, and yeah, this is where the rubber meets the road. As you just heard about, Section 2 is all about building the page that people are going to land on when they click on your ad on Facebook. So we've got, we're going to have a great deal of Facebook information. You're going to know how to run these ads for very cheap. But what happens if you don't have a page that they can land on and they actually want to take action on whatever your offer is? So there's a couple things here, and I want to make sure you understand. The main site that we targeted because we thought, this would be a good site that's going to match our example company that we're putting together is CodeCanyon.net. But here's what's funny about CodeCanyon.net. One would think you could just come over to their site and possibly mimic what they're doing. But the thing is CodeCanyon.net is at this point where they're so big that their page is not really set up in a way to actually sell what they've got. CodeCanyon.net is at the point where they have enough customers, they have enough traffic coming in that people learn about their company and learn about what they're doing by listening to other people talk about it. So this is not really the greatest page to really talk about what you're doing. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you one of our startups that we put together, and I want to show you the formula of how to actually put this together. We're going to be using pretty much the same targeting because my target audience for this particular company is pretty much the same as the kinds of people that come to CodeCanyon. And the reason is because this is a software that we built to help startups. Now, I'm not going to advertise the startup. I don't want you to think that. But what I want you to see is how we actually set up the page to sell it. And throughout this section, I'm going to be going through the different components on this site that help this software sell day in and day out with traffic that we're sending from Facebook. So let's actually jump into that. And let's get started. All right, so what we're going to be covering mostly is an app called Connect Reveal. Connect Reveal is something we put together, and what I'm really focused on is I want you to see exactly how this site is set up because there's a couple key things. Now, in this first video, we're going to be talking about breaking down your offer. So there's a couple things that I need you to understand that are important. So please write these things down. All right, so this is the basic guide to how to present your startup and service the right way. Now, you can get hardcore into copywriting, You can get into a lot of different things, but listen, I'm going to make this easy for you. I want to break this down in a way that you can get started within the next week and do this right. Okay? Now, there's always testing that needs to happen. There's always split testing back and forth. But if you want to come out of the gate with a really, really good offer, these are the things that you have to know when putting together your page. And once I show you this, I'm going to go back and show you on our page how we did this. Okay? So let's get started. What makes your offer unique? What is the unique selling point or the hook that actually makes your offer unique? Now, this is important. If you can't tell me in 2 sentences what makes your startup or service unique and why the world needs it, then it probably isn't a needed startup or service. And that's the thing. You have to be able to take it down to 2 sentences. And imagine that you're walking down the street, you share a short cab, you're in an elevator. That's why they call these things elevator pitches. If someone asks you what you do for a living and you describe your startup or service to them, then really, can you do that in 2 sentences? If you can, you're well on your way. And that's something you just need to polish. If you can't yet, work on it. That doesn't mean that overall the world doesn't need what you're doing, but you need to have it down to a sentence or 2 so that people can understand it very, very quickly. Okay? Now, there's a couple ways you can do this. You can combine other companies. So you've probably heard someone say, well, we're like a mix of Facebook, Pinterest, and Groupon. And that's, I have no idea if that service is out there, but the point is immediately when you start combining companies that I already know, it really helps me get an idea. Now, this is a pretty weak sales pitch for what you're doing, but it does help people understand what you're doing, and it can help you get closer to what your company actually does so you can develop your own unique sales pitch. So we're going to talk about what makes your offer unique in just a minute, but keep in mind, it's just going to be 1 to 2 sentences that really sets you apart from anybody else out there. Okay? So with that unique offer, once you get that, you have to come up with a tagline. And this tagline is, it's based on your hook or your selling point. Okay? So whatever makes you unique, you need to have a tagline that really jumps around it, that gets people curious, but also kind of tells the story. So we'll talk about that, and I'll show you how we did that with the Connect Reveal site in just a minute. After that, features and benefits. Now, let me just tell you how to really do this. A feature is something that doesn't necessarily tell me why it's good or bad. It just tells me that of something that's built into your software, your service, your company, something that's there. So, for instance, quick delivery. Quick delivery would be a feature. But the benefit of that feature would be, hey, you don't have to wait around for a long time. You order it, and it's instantly at your door so you can get back to work. Now, that's feature benefit. Now, that's a really simple version of it, but you can see kind of what we've got going there. I'll show you in just a second how this comes together on our page as we go through this section. Now, benefits, let me get a little more into that. Benefits is the thing that you say to someone to tell them why it helps them. So why is this good for you? Every time you're writing feature benefits, think, okay, here's a feature of our startup or our service or our software. Here's a feature. And then the benefit is, why is this good for the consumer? And that's how you write those things. And we'll go through those as we get going. The next is a call to action. You have to tell people what to do next if they want your stuff. So many people miss this, but you have to give them a place to buy or to take action, to call a phone number, to request that trial, to become a beta user. Those are the things that you have to do. You have to ask for it. If you don't ask for it, people get lost, and they won't actually take action. You'll be left wondering, well, why is our great and amazing thing not getting out there? So that's a big thing we have to mention. And last, and I think this is something a lot of people miss, is the all-in-one walkthrough. So on a lot of our sites, we like to put together things where it combines the tagline, the features, the benefits, the call to action, as well as a general walkthrough. If it's software, we always walk them through the software really, really quickly and show them why it's powerful. So the all-in-one walkthrough can be a video, it can be a quick guided tour through your software, it can even be a demo that your team did. But you have to give them an all-in-one walkthrough because you're going to have people that will actually read through all this stuff, and then you're going to have people that they want something fast that they can go through and learn more about what your service is. Now, there's some types of softwares and services and startups that you have to just give it all in the all-in walkthrough because there's just really no way to do it justice with just this part. So, the all-in-one walkthrough. All right, so this is what we've got. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch back to the site, and I'm going to give you a quick look at what makes the offer unique and what is our unique selling point in our first setup. So let's actually jump back to the site. This is Connect Reveal. Let's do a real quick zoom here so we can jump in and take a little bit of a closer look. This is the site. Now, really quickly, what is it about our app that makes it unique? Okay, what is it that makes it unique? Well, this particular software helps you get traffic in a viral way using Facebook. Okay, that's pretty much what it does. It helps you get traffic in a very unique way and build your list using Facebook. All right, so if you have a company that's trying to build an email list, but they're also trying to get people to talk about their service on Facebook, then this app helps you do it. All right, so we've got that. And based on that uniqueness, we built this. It's never been easier to get other people to spread your message for you. It's a quick little tagline. That's what goes with Connect Reveal. So there's our tagline. That's what we've got there. That's what tells people what we've got. Now, a real quick headline that I have is actually in our video. The cool thing is in this video, our headline shows up. It's the very first thing. So our headline is basically this. In the next 3 minutes, I'm going to show you how a simple piece of software is going to change the way you get traffic online. So that's the main thing that's designed to get your attention the second that you land on this site. Okay? So first things first, I showed you the keys to actually putting this together. So if we go back to our mind map here, I'm going to show you what we've got. We've got our unique selling point that we came up with. We've got our tagline, which is based on our unique selling point or our hook. And then we've got a few more things that we're going to be covering. So in the next video, I'm going to show you feature benefits, calls to action, and the all-in-one walkthrough with our video. And I'm going to show you how to do that really quickly. All of these things combined, when you send traffic to them, they do really, really well because they tell your story correctly. If you don't have this in place, it's not going to work. So if we jump back here real quick, one more time. Our headline, our unique stuff, our tagline is this. It's never been easier to get other people to spread your message for you. Connect Reveal is the name of the app. And then we've also got kind of an accessory headline here that's actually embedded in our video. In the next 3 minutes, I'm going to show you how a simple piece of software is going to change the way that you get traffic online. All right, so in the next video, once you've got these things down, you have your unique selling point, you have it kind of built into a tagline, and you can even put it into sort of a headline here with our video. In the next section, I'm going to show you exactly how we do the features and benefits, as well as how we put together our calls to action, so that this is an easy thing for people to jump on. All right, I'll see you in the next video. All right, in the last video we talked about what makes your offer unique and what is the tagline or headline that is going to really get your point across and really talk about your unique selling point for your book. So now keep in mind, when we were doing our audience stuff earlier, we were really coming down to, we're going to go back to our triad sheet here. When we were doing this, we were really figuring out who we were talking to. So everything that you put on this page here, that I'm going to be walking you through, remember that it all has to relate to this audience. Everything that is in red, our message on our page should fit. If it doesn't, then we've got a problem. So let me ask, are you talking at a high school graduate level, or are you talking at a little bit higher of a level? And that's the thing, you have a little more liberty with this audience. What group are you talking to? What's important to 18 to 24-year-olds and 25 to 34-year-olds? Keep that in mind. These are males, not females. So, are you aiming the way you need to aim? Is your pricing hit with the income that this group is bringing in? Those are the things that you really need to consider when you realize you're sending this group of people to your page. So let's jump back and let's take a look at exactly what we're covering in this video. In this video, we're going to be focusing on features and benefits. So what is important about our software? What are the features that are big that make it unique? And what are the benefits of those features? So I'm going to show you basically how to do this in a live setting. All right, so let's go to this page. Now, if you look below, this is basically our headline tagline section, but if you look below here, you're going to jump into a whole section where we have our features and our benefits. So our features are basically this. Feature number 1, works with multiple autoresponders. Feature number 2, it gives you viral marketing power. Feature number 3, it's hosted in the cloud. Feature number 4, it's easy to use. The interface is just super easy, so it's not going to take you a lot of time. The next thing is you can run multiple campaigns in one, and Aweber, GetResponse, ListAnimal, Infusionsoft, MailChimp, and IndicaMail are all supported. Now, if I'm saying, okay, this looks good to me, I watched the video, does it work with my autoresponder? Is this good for me? That's exactly what we did. The viral marketing power, all right, what is that? ConnectorMail is designed to get others to spread your message for you. Now, while that doesn't really tell the whole story, it does link in with exactly what they found out up through here. Hosted in the cloud, all your contacts and reveals are safe within the cloud, so you're not going to lose anything. Everything's safe within the cloud. It's an easy-to-use interface. The benefit is this. It's designed to be user-friendly right out of the box. Okay? But here's where we snuck in another nice little benefit. But we include easy walkthrough videos just in case, so we know we've got good health there. Run multiple campaigns at once. All right, so hey, we can do everything that we need to do here. Multiple campaigns, multiple lists, multiple autoresponders, all working together from one account. So you don't have to worry about getting multiple accounts. You can get one account and it all works together. So feature, benefit to the person who might be reading this. Okay? Full terms of service. A lot of times we have apps like this, people are wondering, well, is this going to get me in trouble with Facebook? No, you know what? This is good for you because it plays nice with the Facebook terms of service, and you can build for this peace of mind. Also, we've got a nice little section that lists out the logos of who we actually work with. Okay? So that's what we've got. We've got our features and our benefits here. This is not difficult, but you have to understand what is the feature that makes you unique, and then how does it benefit the person who's reading it. Okay? That's what we're looking at. It's as simple as I can make it. Always have a section that lists your features and your benefits somewhere right in front of people, because these are the things that they're really going to want to know about. Okay? All right, so Dr. Ben here. In the next video, I'm going to be talking about calls to action. Okay? And you're going to see on this particular page that we've got a couple, and I'm going to show you how we pull that off in a very cool way. All right, so I'll see you in the next video. We're going to be talking about calls to action. Dr. Ben back with you again. In the last section, we went over features and benefits. In this section, we're going to be talking about the all-important call to action. You have to give people a place to go after they make their way through all of these things. Okay, so the call to action is what we are going to be using to actually get people to take the next step. So let's take a look at our example site, the Connect Reveal site. Oh, on this side, we have multiple calls to action. First things first, I'm going to highlight this. Right here, we have a call to action that says, buy now. So right in front of you, buy now. Now, that's not going to be the first place they go. They're going to go see all this. They're going to look down at our features and benefits. They may even go down to the bottom there. But that's right in front of them. There's no problem finding a place where they can sign up for our service. Of course, at the top, maybe we have a buy now link that's going to take them to the buy page. Now, in this particular instance, this is the type of software, and your software may be that way too, where people want to give it a shot first, and you can actually give them a demo without giving them an account. So what we're doing is we're actually setting up a place where there's another call to action. Okay, so they can actually try it out and get a discount. We have that at the very bottom of our page. It's not something that's featured right out of the gate, but it is something that's very powerful for us. If they click on this, they can actually go through and see exactly how everything works. And the very next page they go to gives them instructions on to see how it all came together. Okay? So that's what they can do there. Now, in this video, we actually have a couple other calls to action, but I'll go into that in the next section. In this video, all I wanted to get across to you was, after you had a great, strong headline, and you have a great little tagline here, you've got tutorials that people may watch. You've got all these things that are going to get them comfortable with you. You have to give them a very apparent way to sign up. If you don't do that, you're in trouble. I can't tell you how many pieces of software out there I've been really excited about, but it was a very difficult thing to sign up for the software. So always make it very apparent where they sign up and where they need to go next, and that's your call to action. So we've got to buy now. Now, we have all those things there. We've got down here, we've got another call to action, which is try it out. But what do you think this call to action leads them to? If they try it out on the next page, they actually have another place where it tells them to buy now. So even if you have an extended call to action and you're kind of mixing your messages a little bit, which is never a good idea unless you're doing it in this particular way, but if you are taking them down a path where they can try something out, make sure once they get to the end of that little tryout or that demo that they are led into another call to action. If you don't give them a call to action, you're going to see a huge decrease in the amount of people that come on board. And listen, all the Facebook traffic, all the Google traffic, all the traffic in the world doesn't matter if it's not actually converting. This is one a lot of people miss, so make sure you know. All right, now in the next video, we're going to do something special. We're going to talk a little bit about these little videos that you see on a lot of these sites. A lot of people do the very cute explainer videos where you have little characters dancing around. Those work really, really well. But a lot of people are just doing something very basic where they're doing a PowerPoint presentation and then a software walkthrough. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the ideal length of these and how they need to come together. So in the next video, we're going to go over that. So far we've gone through kind of your headline, your tagline, your features and your benefits, and your call to action that need to be in place on your page. We also talked about how all those things really need to be speaking to the target consumer that you found in section 1. All right, so once we've got that, the next thing I want to do is talk to you about how these videos fit into the whole mix. All right, Dr. Ben Atkins here. I'll see you in the next video. Dr. Ben Atkins back with you again, and in this particular video, I want to talk to you about these nice little summary things. Now, these are videos or walkthroughs, whatever you want to call them. These are things that, for the people that aren't going to go through your entire site, they give them a good idea of exactly what you've got. All right, so I like to keep these between 3 to 5 minutes. Now, when you get into just big markets, you can put together bigger videos because people are already interested. But if you're really hitting traffic where they've never seen your stuff before, you have to have these videos explained fast. So I like to keep mine down between 3 to 5 minutes. And I like to tell them in the first section, the first thing they see, the first words out of my mouth, are how long the video actually is. Because if I tell someone they got to spend 3 minutes to figure out exactly what's going on, then it's pretty easy for them to do. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through this. Now, you can always go to connectreveal.com and actually check this out and actually see the video live. And you can go through it step by step. But I want to give you a good general overview of exactly what this video does and how it's constructed. All right, so the first thing is, in this first section, you're going to see a headline. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the headline. The headline is really quickly walking through and telling you exactly how much time you're going to have to spend on it. This is just my own formula, and I'm going to show what I'm going to show you. So I'm going to show you a simple piece of software that's going to change the way you get traffic online. That's a bold statement, but it's enough to get you to hang around the next section. So let me give you an overview of what's coming, and then I'll actually walk you through the video step by step. All right, so I just showed you in the video the headline or the initial statement. But let me walk you through everything that's involved, and then you can go watch the video on your own and see where all of these points actually go through. So first thing is we've got a headline or initial statement, as I talked about. After that, I got a quick introduction. In the video, if we were to jump through, and let me show you this real quick, if we were to actually jump through, you're going to see there's a quick introduction to me. That's who I am, and yeah, it gives a little bit of a teaser as to who I am. So we've got that. The next thing that we're going to look at is we're going to say, what are the problems that my startup, my software, my company, whatever it is, that we're trying to solve? But you say those things without mentioning your startup. So let me show you exactly in the video where we kind of do that. As we move through, we start talking about problems. Okay? Talk about the problems with Facebook marketing. It can be slow. Ads can be expensive or hit and miss, you know, if you're not doing it the right way. We've got all these things that are really hitting, you know, really hitting people hard. Because I feel like companies have big advantages over you when they're marketing on Facebook. Those are the main things. That's what this solves. Okay, so that's what we've got. As soon as we go through that, we jump back in and we start to introduce our product. So in this video, we would actually go through and see game changer approaches. We're transitioning to our product. All right. And then we're introducing our product here. Okay. Now there's little in-between slides that transition between these sections, but that's the basic core of what we're doing. So we introduce our product next. As soon as we get done introducing our product, we talk about the features and benefits. Now, on our second up here, we've got them right below the video, but we can talk about the features and the benefits of the software here. Now, I actually blend the features and the benefits into the demo, which is this next part. I actually put these two together. But keep in mind, and this is the most important part of the features and benefits, the features and the benefits need to answer the problems that you talked about above. So in mine, the demo really shows how that goes, so I blended these two. And you can blend those two as well, but just keep in mind that at some point after you introduce the product, you have to talk about the features and the benefits that address the problems that you set up above. Okay? Now, as soon as you get through the features and benefits in the fast demo, and like I said, the fast demo is typically me walking through the software working. So in this section, I'm walking through how the software is working, how it's set up, what it does, and then as soon as we get done with that, we get into our call to action. So my call to action for this video is I actually want to show people something. So the call to action is not buy now on my page, but it's click at the bottom of the page to test it out yourself. So you click here at the bottom of the page and test it out, and you also get a discount on our software. So not only do you test it, to see how it works, but you get a discount off of whatever the price was here. So it's a very compelling call to action at the end of the video because they get a benefit to actually watching this video over someone that didn't watch the video. Now, all of those things, let's go through them really quick. We've got a headline or initial statement. We've got a quick introduction. That's going to be a personal introduction to you or your company. We've got the problems that we're trying to solve, but we don't mention our startup or product yet. We introduce our product. We talk about our features and benefits that solve the problems from above. We give them a fast demo if that fits into what your company does. And then we also give them a call to action to do something at the end of the video. Really quick walkthrough, you can do that in a very short amount of time. I did all of these things here in around, let's look, it looked like it was about just under 4 minutes that we did this in this video. So between 3 to 5 minutes, we knocked it out of the park, and we gave them a call to action to do next. Now, can this page exist without this video? Absolutely it can. There's, everything that I talked about earlier is in there. This video doesn't have to be here. We've got, a place that they can try it out. They've got tutorials. They've got all of our feature benefits. They've got a basic headline of what the software does. But I know a lot of people will not really get it until they go through and see this video. So I put that video and put it all together. Now, your startup may not need that, but I wanted to show you how that works. Now, you can always go to our site to check this video because this video does really well. I doubt we'll be changing too much on it real soon. But you can always check that video out and compare it to the mind map that I just showed you here as to how to put those kinds of videos together. Now, how do I actually put the videos together? Well, pretty much just like this. I use a PowerPoint where I'm recording myself walking through slides, and that usually encompasses section here, this section, this section, this section, this section, and this section, all up until the demo. The demo, I will actually do an over-the-shoulder video, and then I'll come back to my PowerPoint with a call to action. So I'm literally using PowerPoint or some sort of presentation. I'm then recording myself going through a demo of the software really quickly, and then I'm coming back to my call to action for another PowerPoint slide, and then we just stitch those things all together. Now, not needed, but I knew I would have questions about videos on these pages, so I wanted to make sure I included that for you, and you got a good idea of that. All right, so that's pretty much it. Everything you've seen so far, we talked about, our headlines, we talked about our taglines based on our unique parts of our software, or our startup, or our service, whatever you're doing. We talked about our features and our benefits of those features, and then we talked about our call to action. And in this last video, we talked about how you actually put these little videos together that really sew all this stuff together. Now, you've gone through all this stuff, you've got it all down. In the next section, we're going to actually be going through how to set up ads. We have our research down, we have the page that we're sending our ads to, so in the next section, we're ready to actually put our ads together and start sending traffic, which is kind of the point of the whole thing. The reason we did everything up to here is 90 to 95% of people running ads don't do this stuff, and that's why only 5% are successful. It's because they're the people that do this stuff. All right, so in the next videos, We're going to go through actually setting up an ad. I will see you in the next section.